Howdy, in this vid we are going to slice all the images out of the flowers mockup, and then we're going to code all the markup for the flowers mockup. We'll start styling it more in the next video. In this video, let's look at first what we have done already. We've done the header area, and remember the header has a header and a header inner. And then we're going to tackle the other three sections in a similar way. There's the banner area, the main content area, and the footer area. So we'll slice all the images for these, and then we'll code them, and each of these will also have an outer wrapper and an inner wrapper, because we want to center all of these horizontally in the same way we center the header. So let's talk about layers in Photoshop real quick. So what we want to do now is cut out the orange banner background, but if we did what we did in the last video, and that's just kind of block it out and then save that image for web, we get the words on top. So how do we hide the words? Well, let's talk about layers. If you don't see this layers panel, hit F7 or go to window and hit layers. So this is a layer in Photoshop. Each of these rows is a layer in Photoshop, and you can turn them on and off, and they become hidden and shown. So it's very convenient. Let's talk about these folders. These are layer groups. So if you click an arrow on a folder, you will see all the layers inside, and then you can show and hide them just as we were doing with the regular layers. And you can also show and hide a whole layer group at once. Okay, so what we need to do is open the banner folder, the banner group, and then just hide all the text. Sweet. I'm going to make this wider so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. Now I'm going to hit C and Shift C till I get my X-acto without the arrow. I'm going to block this guy out. Now I'm going to zoom in, Control plus or Command plus. I'm going to hold spacebar and drag. And really what I'm just doing is getting this this area right on the money here. Okay, that looks good. Now the knife with the arrow should come up automatically. I'm going to double click inside my banner area. I'm going to call it banner. Hit enter. I'm going to zoom back out. What other images do we have? We're going to slice all these images, then we're going to slice this ray gun and the Texas images, and that should do it. I'm going to zoom in, zoom out a tiny bit, and I'm going to get my slice knife and block this out. Okay. I can't recall what I named those. It looks like we called them flowers 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to hit Shift C so I get my knife with the arrow. Call it flowers 1, hit enter. Double click inside that guy. Flowers 2, hit enter. Double click inside this guy. Okay, now I'm going to pan over to my ray gun. Let's see how we did the ray gun. Yeah, we just did them as JPEGs. Okay. I'm going to block that out. I'm going to zoom in, make sure I got it right. It's a little off. I can click inside that and then just hit a right arrow to move it like 1 pixel at a time. Now I'm just going to scroll all the way over to my Texas image and grab that guy. Double click inside that, call it Texas. Scroll over my ray gun, get my knife with the arrow, Call it ray gun. Okay, now we're ready to slice these guys. I am going to hit File, Save for Web. This always takes a minute to load. Okay, I'm going to zoom out in here by doing Control minus or Command minus if you're on a Mac. And what we're going to do here is just double click each image, hit escape when the dialog pops up, and then hold shift and continue to do that until we got them all selected. I'm going to hit escape. Now I'm holding shift. I double click inside that guy. This dialog box keeps popping up outside the window, but I'm just going to show it to you for this time, and I hit escape. Okay, holding shift, double click, hit escape, holding shift, double click, hit escape. Now this guy I can't see, it's so small, so I'm going to zoom and pan. Holding shift, double click, escape, zoom out, zoom in. Holding shift, double click, escape. Okay, so we got all those guys. In this case, we're going to save all these guys at JPEGs at 80%. It'll be a little bit faster. And I hit save. Desktop is good. I'm going to do selected slices. I'm going to hit save. So now it adds it to that images folder on our desktop. I'm going to open that images folder. And I'm going to copy all the images we just made. Control C or Command C if you're on a Mac. Now I'm going to open my flowers folder. I'm going to double click my images folder inside that. Now I'm going to hit Control V or Command V if you're on a Mac. Okay, now we got all those images. Now let us add our markup. Okay, so this is the markup we were left with at the end of the last video. You can download these files, the flower and style and the images folder from the post if you need. There'll be a link in the description. Let's go ahead and mark up those three sections we were talking about, the banner area, the main content area, and the footer area. So here we just have our three divs. Oops. So there we have our three divs. Now let's add the banner text. So if we go back to the mockup, the banner has, you can always revert your mockup. So I'm going to hit File and Revert. And it's being grumpy because I moved my folder. So what I'm going to do real quick is close this. I'm going to reopen it. Okay, so we are going to add these 3 lines of text real fast to the banner. And we'll just do them in P tags, I think. Yeah, something like that should do the trick. And I'm using IDs of banner line 1, banner line 2, and banner line 3. Now, let's add some of the rest of the markup for the content. Let's add this guy and then our images. Okay, so we're using an H2 for the checkout our Spring Flowers collection. And we're doing that because that's like content we want the search engines to read. This stuff for us isn't so important. We're just using P tags for them. Headers get ranked higher than P tags in SEO. And we just use image source tags for these guys. And this is the path to our images, images/flowers. Now let's add our footer markup. Okay, so let's talk about what we've done here. Our footer has this text, and then it has the ray gun, and a little text, and the Texas, and a little text. So that text in the middle, we just put in a p tag. Then we're using separate div sections, for the left and right corner content. I'm going to call the left div website credit that's the ray gun one, and then the right one we'll call member because it has this member text in it. And those are image tags, and we're wrapping them in link tags. Pretty straightforward. And we're using separate divs. It'll just be easier to style everything like that image and the text by it. Okay, so I think that's, oh yeah. Okay, so before we do that, let's refresh. And it is not beautiful because there's no styles yet, but you can see all our contents there. That's great. There's one other thing we need to add to our markup, and that's to add those inner divs. So now we have these outer divs, banner, main content, and footer, but because we want to center them the same way we centered this guy with a header and then a header inner for the content, we're going to do the same thing with these guys. So let's add a banner inner like that. Let's add a main content inner like that. Let's add our footer inner. Okay, so we are good for this video.